What's up, guys? It is Charles Almighty Wraith Bell coming back from Vegas. Loved it, had a blast. So, this is going to be a little bit of recap. So, tried it yesterday, had some very big technical difficulties yesterday, but we're going to do it one more time. So, there was a lot of things that I saw that I enjoyed, and I can't talk about yet. But this is going to be stuff that I seen that I enjoyed, and it pretty much, even if I could have talked about everything, it wouldn't have changed my list any. These are just some really cool stuff. So let's get this party started. Now, most people, when they hear they got a business meeting, this is kind of what they expect, you know, or even maybe this. And, well, that's just not how GameStop does things. So, here's one of our, and then, so, a bunch, tons of store managers and district managers and everything crammed into rooms learning about video games because that's what we're passionate about. So, let's see here. Now, again, like I said, there are some things that we saw that I can't talk about yet. I'm just going to state, if you've got a title that's getting ready to come out, you got franchise that has been hinting towards it, pay close attention. They've got some pretty cool stuff coming your way. Now, so before we get into it, I'm going to talk about a couple honorable mentions and stuff like that. So I was really impressed. Got some hands-on with Cuphead. Was a little bit more impressed with it than I thought. So if you have not seen it, and you like the old 30s style animation of like Walt Disney and everything, definitely check that one out. It was kind of a platformer. Let's see, what else did I see that I could? I did get my hands on the Xbox One X. Was pretty impressed. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that when we talk about some of these other games. Watching Forza 7 with the dust storms and the vibration of the windshield wipers and everything, it just was awesome. So vibration, but so let's get into my top 5 games. So, my top 5 games. So we're going to start out with one that I was already impressed with, already ready to go. And that was Shadow of War. Got to see some really cool trailers and gameplay footage and stuff like that. But what really impressed me was the night at Expo where I got my hands on and got to play it. It is phenomenal. Watched it while I played it, and it was in playing on the Xbox One X in 4K, and was amazing. So if you're a fan of the series, or you're a fan of the Lord of the Rings, or a fan of RPGs, definitely one that you need to check out. Next on my list, and this one I'm really more excited about than this where it got ranked, but this is just from stuff that impressed me at the Expo, and that's Destiny 2. So Destiny 2 I ended up enjoying because of the fact that, well, it's just a great game. But you know, the way they presented it was great. Got to see the live action trailer, and if you have not seen that, I do recommend that. You know, this one comes out in less than a week, and it didn't really need any more excitement from what we had already seen, but it's just going to be phenomenal. Looking forward to playing that with some friends. So, moving along. Now, this next one is a big shock, and a lot of people I've talked to, even before this expo, was surprised at how excited I am for this particular game. And that is the Assassin's Creed Origins. When they debuted that at E3 earlier this year, that was just phenomenal. I've never been a huge Assassin's Creed fan. I like the concept, just never really got into the gameplay and everything. But it is beautifully done. Again, this was one I seen on the expo floor being played. I didn't get hands on it, but I did watch them play it again on the Xbox One X with 4K, and it was beautiful. I can't wait to get my hands on this one. It'll probably be the first Assassin's Creed that I actually sit down and finish. So, I know I'm probably going to catch some backlash on that, but it's never been one of my top favorite franchises. So, but this one I'm definitely picking up. This one is, and then one last thing before I move on to my next one. When we're sitting there in our general session and they unveiled this gold statue of the pyramid and everything, and you know, they told us no flash photography, no, and all this other stuff, and we were kind of curious. Guy dressed up as an assassin comes out there, does a little thing, and then he stands on top of the pyramid and calls out, and the next thing we know, a giant bird is flying through the audience. So that was just awesome. But moving right along into my next one. So this one is Call of Duty. Excuse me. Returning to boots on the ground combat. I do enjoy first person shooters, so that's why it's on this list. Had it not been for the way they demoed it, it probably would have been down there where Destiny was. But beautifully done game. Got to see some great, never before seen footage of it. And unfortunately, I still haven't had a chance to play the beta. After I get done recording, that's exactly what I plan on doing. So, but if you haven't played the beta, get on there, play the beta. This game comes out November 3rd, and it's going to be awesome. But back to the reason why it's so high on my list. So we're sitting in general session, and they were showing us some never before seen stuff, and just the way they did the trailer, the surround sound, they had pyrotechnics while we were watching this. So I'm going to try to convince my wife maybe to put a flame bar in. Yeah, I doubt that. It's going to go very well, but after watching it like that, I was just amazing. So now this next one is no big surprise to anybody that knows me. And that is, get it to pop up, Dragon Ball Fighter Z. Now, when it first got announced, I wasn't exactly sold on it, other than the fact that it was Dragon Ball. I'm not a huge fan of that style of fighting because it is a 3v3. Kind of reminds me of a lot of Guilty Gear and Marvel vs. Capcom. Not that I don't like those games, it's just that those aren't my favorite style of fighting games, and I'm a huge fighting game fan. I did like the animation because I'm a huge fan of the show. And when I got there and got to look at it, it was just phenomenal. Even before I got to play it on the expo floor, which I did, and it was phenomenal. I lost, but I have never enjoyed getting beat so much as of getting beat playing this game. But the great thing came from, and if you're on our YouTube, if you're on our Facebook page, you've probably already seen this particular image. So let's see here. Where did it go? There it is. So that particular image is from where the collector's edition got announced and everything, and that thing is just phenomenal. I love the statue that they have in it. I got Xenoverse 2. When it came out, I had to have the one with the statue, and going to do the same thing if I can convince my wife to let me pre-order that one. I'm going to grab that one as well. Beautifully done. I'm sure that it's floating around on the internet by now as far as what's off in there and a picture of the statue. I highly recommend checking that out. So I do thoroughly enjoy my job, and it coexists with my passion for Game Warriors. So with that being said, I'm going to spend a little bit more time on my favorite moments. So some of these are going to go a little bit longer than the others, but let's start out with some of my top moments. If it'll show up. Is playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with my fellow manager, Sean, in a giant ball pit. That was awesome. I lost. Was taking third, and then I don't remember what happened. I fell off and, well, never regained. So, but nonetheless, that was great. Had a blast doing so. So next was is collectibles. Got to see some pretty awesome collectibles, and of course, I zeroed in on the Dragon Ball. There were some Ninja Turtle ones. Some of these I really hope I get to see in my store. If not, I'm going to the guy's website and order them. Next up is I got to experience most of the finals of the Hometown Heroes and Justice 2 brought to the GameStop had done. Some really cool matches and everything. Some very competitive people. If I had shown the full picture here, you could actually see the table, and I don't know if I can pull it up. No, not letting me pull it up. But anyway, the table, they had gotten so heated that the Injustice E had flipped upside down. So, but they were all good sports and everything. Seen some really great young talent and everything. Got to meet Ed Boon. Didn't get a picture with him, but I got to meet him and say hi to him and everything. And for those that don't know, Ed Boon is the creator of Mortal Kombat, NetherRealm Studio. You know, he's him and he'd created co-created Mortal Kombat, and and he's also in charge of Injustice. So, but that was not all. We walk in to meet my fellow store manager, Kieran, and me and Sean sit down beside him, and I hear a voice, and man, that sounds familiar. Look behind me. It's KP, Katana Prime. These two guys on either side of me and Sean, they're both professional gamers and everything. So the one next to Sean is KP, Katana Prime, and the one next to me is Michelangelo. Really great guys. Got to talk to them for a few seconds in between matches up there at the Injustice tournament. Was a great time. Really enjoyed it. So next on my list is bonding with my GameStop peers. This was our last night at conference. We all majority of us went out to eat at a sushi place nearby. Had a great time. So one of the other things that we got to do during the team building was they had a contest within our region not so long ago about buy two get one free. So the district manager and the store manager that performed the best within our region would be crowned in our regional breakout. So as you can see, me sitting in the center with a crown. I should have known that it wasn't just a figure of speech. I should have known with my crew that they were actually going to have a crown. This was one of the things I was dreading because I don't like getting up in front of people. And this was a room full of people. All said and done, as you can see by the look on my face, I really did. I had a blast. So it was humbling. And not only did I take the #1 spot in the district and the region, but I took the #3 spot in the company for that. And I couldn't have done it without my team. So thank y'all if y'all are watching. I really did. Each year I get closer and closer to my GameStop family, and I really enjoy it. And I enjoy my job. So that being said, that brings me to my #1 spot. And before I bring up the slide, I'm extremely passionate about giving back to my community and helping others, those that are in need. So I got to play a bunch of video games, got to see a bunch of never before seen stuff, got my hands on some really cool gadgets, and got to talk to some developers, meet some celebrities. All of that stuff's great. Great food, great time with friends. Caught a cold. But my favorite part about Expo is the following, and it is how much GameStop gives back to their area, to their community, and cares about their associates. We have a bunch of internet trolls that like to start crap and everything else, but I've worked for several companies in big corporations, small corporations. None of them were perfect, but honestly, I don't think there's a better company that has more caring associates out there as per volume. And yes, we have some people that aren't. I mean, again, we're not perfect. But the next couple of slides, this is my favorite part of it when we're talking about what we're going to be doing what we have done for charity and everything else. So this next one, I don't know if you know who that is. If you can tell directly below my picture, it's Kevin Pereira from G4, Attack of the Show and everything. Really good guy. A little weird, but cool none the same. So this year, while we're at conference, Hurricane Harvey hit Texas, and GameStop has this thing called the Gamer Fund, and we raised money for a couple months ago where we did a special Game Warriors versus GameStop event, and everything. And while we were there, they raised I'm wanting to say about $30,000 to help the associates that had lost a lot of stuff, and not too many companies I've worked for would have cared. But anyway, Kevin, while on stage, he had heard about it. He thought it was awesome and everything, and he donated, did a generous donation to the Gamer Fund to help us out as well. And then this, that kind of caught me off guard and everything because, he didn't have to. It was just something he decided to do. Now, the next one, every year, they have the people from Make-A-Wish there, and this is my absolute favorite time, and I cry every year because of the reaction of the families and the kids and stuff like that. And it's just very moving to see what we do and what our efforts in the stores to raise the money and stuff goes towards. But this year, got to watch as the WWE, Dean Ambrose, Renee Young come out there and grant this young man Solomon's wish to go to WrestleMania and meet Dean Ambrose. It was just, he was so overwhelmed and stuff like that. He was meeting somebody that he had been wanting to meet right before this. A couple years ago, there was a young man named Jared that wanted to be in a commercial for a video game company, and we made that happen. He was in a GameStop commercial, and he's now doing his own YouTube thing. And that right there, to me, every year is the highlight of my experience at GameStop Expo. I know there's so much stuff crammed on, and we're busy. We're running around trying to get from one training room to the next, but it's all fun. And just this one little 30-minute segment and stuff like that where we get to see that type of stuff is so worth it. So I know I probably rambled, and I know I sound a mess, but I appreciate y'all checking this out. And I hope y'all enjoyed it. So in closing, I mean, again, just to do a little recap, I enjoyed myself in Vegas. Had a bunch of fun. Got to meet some really cool people. And I look forward to seeing some of these games coming out, getting my hands on them, playing them a little bit more. But I'm going to leave on this note. Right now, through October 31st, GameStop and Make-A-Wish are running their annual campaign and everything. So I highly recommend going to your local GameStop, and even if you're not looking for a game or a collectible or anything that we have for you board games, video games, all types of stuff for you. But if nothing else, going in there and making a donation, all of it goes to, when you do the donation, goes to Make-A-Wish. And, you know, and if you're one of those people that does not like GameStop for some reason, you can go to Make-A-Wish's website and donate to them too. It's a really great company. Game Warriors does one annually with them. I think we've done 3 so far, and it's going to keep going. That is one of our annuals that will be there for as long as we exist. But that's it, guys. I thank y'all for viewing this. Send me some feedback. Let me know some other stuff, some other videos y'all would like to see. Coming up in a couple days, we're going to be doing another charity spotlight that will be up here benefiting the Joe LeBlanc Food Pantry. So y'all have a wonderful day. Thank y'all again.